Hibiscus Virtual Gallery is pleased to present Earth is a Woman, ASASE YAA, a virtual exhibition and art workshop featuring the paintings of Nyonyo, a Ghanaian mixed media artist.
Hi, my name is Alicia Enyonam D'Souza. I am an artist from Ghana, West Africa. I'm also a graduate with bachelor's degree in integrated rural arts and industry from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology here in Ghana. I love to think outside of the box and I'll try anything new, and so I describe myself as a versatile artist. I have artworks in mixed media, acrylic, on canvas, aluminium, silhouettes, leather collages, and so many more. My first encounter with painting was at a young age, but it was developed in senior high school. My inspiration is from God, through the environment, because when I think of the complexities and the diversities and everything around me, I think, what an awesome artist, right? But then I take inspiration from random photographs, works from other artists, personal experiences, and generally everything around me. And so most of my paintings tend to be more about the African concept. My first exhibition was a fundraiser for an NGO I volunteer for. It's called Little Big Souls. They cater for premature babies, and it was great. I signed my artwork with the name Nyonyo, which is a form of my native name, which is Enyonam, which means he, as in God, is good to me, or it means it, as in me, is good to you. Either ways, it's a good thing to know me and my art. So I hope to share my opinions and my ideas about the different ways you can see the world through my painting, as well as meet and create relationships with people all over the world through my artworks. I stay in a small town somewhere in Accra, Ghana, with my family and my two art enthusiastic dogs, Captain and Empress. Captain is not around at the moment, but Empress is here to make sure that I do what I need to do. Say hi. Really? Okay, so that's a little bit about me. Thank you.
So strong, she is educated, talented, she knows her worth. She's cultural, a woman of substance. And when she walks, the world will stop and stare. She is a woman.
See, men build houses and women build homes. When sleeping women wake up, mountains move. ASASE YAA, Earth is a woman. Hello and welcome. Thank you for attending my exhibition. Before we begin the exhibition, I would like to express my gratitude to the Hibiscus Community Center for this opportunity to express my art to the world. The theme of today's exhibition is ASASE YAA, Earth is a Woman.
This painting is themed ASASE YAA. It's a poem of Earth being a woman. You can see in the composition a bowl of seed and water by the side of the woman. Like food, she eats it to nourish the existence of humanity, like seed being planted in the earth and watered to grow. The painting also shows a woman changing faces like the season. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah. It shows the beginning and end of species. She can be as calm as the wind or as treacherous as a tornado, which is represented by the different elements in the background. of this composition. She can be a land of mountains and green forest, or a volcano of lava and ash. And for me, the representation of a woman being a volcano is like a woman who has suddenly come out of being silenced for so long. And when it rains, that's a representation of the moments when men suddenly understand the complaints that women have been laying down for years, and then suddenly there's an understanding and there's a calm, and after a while green vegetation starts growing where there was ash, and then we could see that things go back to normal. The representation of fire in this composition is woman being as warm as fire in a cold place, or a raging fire that can destroy everything in its path. She can be a soft wave at your feet, or a hurricane that destroys any and everything in the path. So, like the earth, woman can make or break. This painting is inspired by the misplaced representation of women in the society. It is themed DNA, and the composition shows a queen, a warrior, a priestess, and a mother. It shows the DNA women have. Like the earth, no matter what process it goes through, it has sediments from thousands of years still existent in it. Women are not just their bodies, but have more. Women have been queens, rulers, warriors who have won wars, priestesses that have cured nations and spoken futures into life. They have birthed kings and warriors that have shaped the world and should be represented as such. Women need to be reminded that inside of them, somewhere inside of them, lies the DNA of a queen. There is a warrior inside of them. There's a mother inside of them. And there's also a healer inside of them. And this is what the world needs to recognize about who a woman is. The entire body of a woman. This painting is themed Oasis because it's inspired by how the desert, even with its scorching sun and vast amounts of sand, still holds water somehow. But there is a stigma on women who've had breast cancer or cesarean instead of natural birth, which needs to be recognized and abolished. This painting is to throw light onto such women and to remind people that women, no matter what they have been through, whether it's breast cancer, their body being changed by either form of childbirth, are still beautiful, give life one way or the other. And this is represented in this composition by a woman seated as an oasis in desert, holding a plant that's growing, and also having a one breast being amputated, having stretch marks on her body to represent the change in her body, and also clips on her body. I don't know if you can see them, little tiny clips to represent CS, what happens after CS. And so this painting is to remind also every woman out there that no matter what changes your body goes through, you are still beautiful and you are still capable of doing anything that you want to do. This painting is inspired by a photograph and is called Tradition Oppression. The painting shows the nature of pain endured by women who go through oppression in the form of tradition. A tradition to keep women from being promiscuous to the extent of destroying the very nature of their bodies. It speaks about female genital mutilation and illuminates and reminds everyone who sees it that although the fight is on, it's far from over. tradition shouldn't be an excuse to hurt and possibly kill women, even if it's not intentional. Trying to take away parts of the earth when there is no need has never brought anything but disasters. There is no need to change what nature has created if it's not necessary. And so, in this composition, you can see a rose that has been sewn with a thread to signify what the woman's sexual organ looks like after female genital mutilation. It is an emotional painting, especially for me, because tradition was supposed to be a way of life. Tradition was to guide us on our path, and when it becomes an oppression for one side of society, it becomes a problem that needs to be addressed. And so that's what this particular painting is seeking to illuminate, that although we don't hear so much of female genital mutilation anymore, it is still in existence and there's still a need to abolish it entirely. This painting is not only beautiful, it is inspired by the news of so many missing Native women, which from my point of view is not gaining enough attention as it should, and also the recent news of 250 remains of Native children that was found. It is themed Pocahontas from the famous animation Pocahontas, which had a happy ending of friendship and love. If we ignore what happens to a part of the earth because it does not concern us, shall we now say we had no idea what happened when the effects of our act begins to haunt us? The composition of this painting shows a horse with a symbol of the earth in honor of all the missing women, and the feathers coming off from the broken dream catcher in the painting represents the broken state of society and also the broken dreams of families and the community of the missing Native women. This painting is a love letter, it is a song, and it's an honor painting for the Native community. It goes to show that we hear you, we see you, we know what you're going through, and we are with you. This painting is themed Earth's Dance for Rain and is inspired by the amazing Queen Mojaji of the Balobedu people of South Africa, who are a group of people who dance to end drought and famine. Yes, it's true. This painting shows the relationship between earth and sky again, representing female and male. Like in the traditional society of the Akans of Ghana, West Africa, earth is called Abrewa or old lady, and her husband is Nyami, who is God or the sky deity. And though they have their differences, they still have a connection and a relationship. The painting shows the cycle between male and female, or earth and sky, and shows that there cannot be life without sky or earth. As such, it illuminates a special place that the male holds in the world of the female. Life can indeed not be created without a part of the male joining the female. This painting is themed talking drum. Just like in a few cultures across the world, the drum is used to make announcements or spread news. It shows a woman seemingly obsessively drumming in a frenzy. And this shows the frustration of women at not being heard. The vibrant colors in this composition shows how loud women need their worries and concerns and voices to be heard. Women don't always nag. If they do, well, there's always thunder and lightning before a storm. They only express themselves differently verbally. The Jinkra symbol on the drum in this painting is called Nyasapo, which means the knowledge knot, which in this composition represents the fact that women do not just talk, but if you pause and listen, you would find wisdom in what they say. After all, in many religious or some religions across the world, wisdom is personified as a woman. The voices of women should not be brushed aside as perhaps the rumblings of nature. It could just be a wild lion on the loose. Even in the jungle, when a predator is seen around, animals make a whole lot of noise so everyone around can hear. So even if the voices of women sound like just noise, listen, you might just find wisdom in it. Just like the earth, if you listen closely, you would foresee earthquakes, the eruption of volcanoes, storms, and even hurricanes. This abstract painting is about the way women are seemingly treated in society, the price tag that's placed on each one of them, hence the theme price tag. It shows faces in a line illustration form with barcodes on their forehead, if you can see it in the painting. It shows how women are treated like objects, like in the new booming business of women trafficking. These women are treated like no less than goods, with price tag one higher than the other, obviously judged by their physical form and what they can offer, basically sexually. And in this, just like parts of the earth is trampled on, neglected, or destroyed, and no value placed on it because of what it can't provide for us, women are treated in many parts of the world like less of a good on the market with a barcode on it showing its price and what it can provide. And this is not who a woman is. This is not how women were meant to be treated. Women were meant to be treated with dignity. And yet, for some reason in society, women have been devalued to become not less than, yes, goods on the aisle of a supermarket or the aisle of a marketplace. And it's something that needs to be looked at, because from generation to generation this keeps on going on, and eventually women will start believing that they are nothing but just objects with a price tag. The colors in the composition represent women from all nationalities, and the fact that it's not just one nationality of women that face this devaluing, but every woman from all the corners of the world has in one way or the other faced and experienced this treatment. The composition of this painting shows different flowers in the background and bees being attracted to this one sunflower that covers the face of this woman. It represents the heart or the nature of a broken-hearted woman. The bees seemingly go back and forth taking nectar from this flower without realizing that eventually it becomes drained. And seemingly, in human nature, it bleeds. They only see it as a flower that supplies or satisfies their needs, and do not find any need to notice that eventually, if they keep taking, it will wither and die. The heart of this woman has been broken so much, and so in this painting, you notice that instead of a heart, she is painting a heart over her chest to replace the broken one. It shows that a woman, like the earth, lives, breathes, and bleeds. And if people keep taking and taking and taking without replacing, eventually it dies. Just like afforestation, global warming, endangered species, and the many variety of human-made problems on Earth. There's a need to give as much energy that is given. This painting is quite special. It's themed Every Woman, and it shows the different people a woman can be. It shows in this composition 2 women pounding food, which is to say women feed people and they feed nations. There's nothing like warm food in the belly of a hungry person. It also shows a group of pregnant women, signifying the continuity of the human race. It shows a group of women fishing, which illuminates how industrious women can be. The painting also shows a woman artistically painting her home, another farming, another caring for a child while cooking, another going over to fetch water. Women like the earth, as shown in the painting, provide so much more. They are not just a place to lay our feet. Women, though the activities may be so small, do so much just within 24 hours of a day. Just like the earth has organisms that do so little that we do not notice them, but are part of the ecosystem and provide so much more than we notice. Women do these little things as they seem to the masses anyway. But then it's these little things that hold society together one way or the other. This painting is in honor of every family trying to preserve the life of a premature baby. It is inspired by an NGO I volunteer for called the Little Big Souls. They cater for the needs of some premature babies and their families. It is themed the kangaroo war, from the kangaroo mother care technique, which involves the baby being strapped skin to the mother for warmth. This helps in the development of such babies. The thorns on the head of the woman in the painting shows how difficult the journey is, but her facial expression shows hope and strength against the odds. Such women, like the earth, sustain the lives of the smallest tree until it becomes the biggest tree. This painting is themed Heavy is Your Crown. I don't know how many people have heard this tune. Heavy is your crown, the way you hold me down. I don't know, but okay, back to the painting. It's inspired by the nature of a lioness who hunts for the family and yet takes her place as the mate to the king of the jungle. It shows the calm nature of women. It shows that even though they may be aggressive in a lot of areas, they're still calm in the way they care for their family and their spouse. the protection they give, the love they provide, and a weaker vessel though it may seem that women are, they are the neck that carries the head with the crown. And we all know that the neck is the part of the body that feels the pain when the head carries the heavy load. So it goes to show how strong women are and the stability they bring to the society. So with this composition, we can all agree that the crown of a woman is heavy. Judging by all that she does for the family, if we just take time to look and listen, we would know that the crown of a woman is really heavy. This painting is themed biological clock, which is a common phrase said to women who are approaching a particular age or are a particular age. In the painting, you can see the head of the woman shaped like a candle. It's lit and it's melting. This shows the depressive feeling women get from the pressure being placed on them, the pressure to fulfill all these societal duties as well as fulfill your dreams within a limited time period. You can see also in the painting she holds a pot of gold and precious stones of so many kinds, but no one sees them, not even her eventually, hence the blindfold. Just like the earth, everything has a season, and although time and tide waits not, women are not just the womb or the babies they produce. They are human and have more to give and more to show. Ever thought of what identifies a woman the moment you see her? Yes, you guessed right, and that's what makes this painting interesting. It's themed Take Them and Leave Me Be, and it's inspired by an illustration a friend showed me once. Sexual abuse, general misconduct against women has mainly to do with the breast and the sexual organ, to be honest. Most violence against women stems from the sense of possession of a woman's body, especially these body parts. Even the validation of a woman in our society is whether she's beautiful enough or can bear children. This painting shows the frustration of a woman for not being noticed for her brilliant thoughts and talent, but instead what she can give sexually. And it is with this giving that she is violently oppressed as well. In the painting, you notice that once she casts away these parts of her body, there is a difference in what is left from what was cast away. And this goes to show that there's more to the woman's body than just the breast and the sexual organ. Women, like the earth, give. And what they give sometimes is what is also trampled on. For the sake of gold that the earth gives, people would trample on the earth and discard of it and destroy its nature just to find this object they seek. And it is so in how women are treated. Just to get what we want from women, we would destroy their mind, we would disregard who they are truly for what we can gain from them, mostly sexually. And this is what this painting seeks to illuminate. What this painting seeks to say is, take them, these body parts that you so desire, and leave me be with who I truly am. This painting is themed Earth and Sky. It is a depiction of the story of love, and bond between earth and sky, female and male. In this painting, earth is represented by the waterfall, flowers and plants, and the sky is starry blue. Though different from each other, as you can see, somehow they seem to complement each other into creating a beautiful composition. This also goes to show how the ecosystem is from the earth to the sky and back to the earth in an infinite circle. This painting highlights the beauty of women in relation to the earth. It's themed hair like the forest, hips like the waves. The vibrant color over the dark background shows the tenacious nature of women in holding on to hope in times of darkness as their inner beauty. The swaying of their hips is like the calm waves. It sways and it sways. And I know the kind of feeling it brings to people when you meet a woman that has hips that sway like the waves. Also, the hair shaped like the forest shows how deep and beautiful and graceful women look, as well as showing how deep their minds are. Deep like the forest. You have to dive in deep into the forest to find out what's hidden in the forest. It may be dark, but there's also light. There are beautiful animals and there's beautiful nature in the forest. So in the mind of a woman, it's deep like the forest and yet beautiful once you're able to find it. This is a painting with inspiration rooted in the Black community. It is themed Displaced Queen. It is said that when you educate a man, you educate a person, but when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. The Black community, and for that matter, the community of colored folks, are in need of change, a mental change. This painting highlights a woman crowned in cotton, which signifies her being trapped by the past. She has a chain with shackles like jewelry around her neck and barbed wire on her hands. That signifies her being forced to try and change her nature to fit society. Hence, her peeling off her skin. When on the other hand, in this composition, her true nature exists, beautifully adorned and gracious in sight, queen and waiting to be unveiled. Although she looks, she cannot see this version of herself. When you change the nature of the earth, like soil, over and over again, moving it around and around just to suit the form that pleases you, over time, it looks nothing like what it was and truly is. There is a need to cure the mentality of the woman, especially in the colored community, to remind them of their place and who they are. So when they birth the rest of the generation, they can impact onto them the truth of where they come from, who they truly are, and who they should be. This painting from afar looks very beautiful, but as you get closer to it, you will notice the hidden elements of pain in the entire composition. It is themed Crack in the Earth. As you come closer and closer to the painting, you realize the bruises on the face of the woman in the composition, as well as her bleeding nose. And then when you pay attention to the mask, you realize this is just her way to hide the cracks in her life. This painting is to bring awareness to the need to speak up about violence and abuse. It shows that when you hide cracks in the earth, it only breeds disaster. There is a need to recognize these cracks and fix them. Ignoring them just make them bigger and bigger until the whole society is cracked from one person to another. This painting is themed Forget Me Not, and it's an acrylic on canvas painting coming from my imagination of what a mother with a premature baby feels like. In the painting, the woman is seen holding on to her little baby with a covering of frangipanis over her eyes. So she sees nothing but the love and devotion for her child, as well as the hope for a new life and renewal. Since in Buddhism, frangipanis represent new life and renewal. The butterfly in the composition represents the hope of life for her child, and this is just to encourage all the women going through the process of saving their children during their premature stage to hold on, to have faith, and there is such a thing as miracles, and they do happen. Also, just like the earth would always give us a hint of hope and calm after a storm, this painting represents having hope for the calm after the storm. This painting is themed A Love Letter, and it's a painting that represents the loss of a child and a mother's memory of what could have been, the stories that could have been told, the hugs that could have been given, and the laughter and tears that could have been had. And just like the earth leaves a footprint of lives that have been and lives that are, this is also sort of a representation of what a mother feels after she loses her child. This painting is themed in her mind. It's a painting that is influenced by the ideas of what goes on in the minds of a woman, especially a woman who is faced with the life and death situation of a premature baby. The process, the things they face, the social ridicule, the social problems that comes with having a premature baby. For me, it's a representation of darkness in the mind of a woman, the uncertainties that that woman goes through, especially in her mind, as well as the glimpse of light and hope that is also in the mind. So it just represents a constant battle of the good and bad thoughts in the mind. This painting is themed the mind and heart. It's a painting that is influenced by another painting I came across. It's also an acrylic on canvas painting, and it represents the constant battle between the mind and the heart as far as decisions go, as well as a dependent relationship between both organs. It goes to show that despite our differences, we still rely on each other.
This artwork is themed Empty Desire. It's an acrylic on canvas painting which is influenced by personal experience. It represents the very turnings of love, passion, and loss, hence the shades of red in the composition. The fire in this painting represents the desires as well as the grief from disappointment that threatens to consume you, and the roses represent the desire to try love over and over again. But the spilt wine in this composition represents the feeling of emptiness and drain. The colors of red in this composition also represent sort of a volcanic reaction to all the feelings that you have inside. The threat of exploding out at a point in time. It just shows that we should allow our emotions to flow instead of bottling them up. This painting is themed naturally, and it shows a woman cradling her young and animals doing the same. You can see an elephant cradling a baby elephant, a giraffe, and a bird guarding her eggs. This is a composition that tells the story of survival of species from the beginning of time. Whether night or day, the female of every species, like the earth, cradles life for as long as it lives. This painting is a love letter to every mother, whether naturally or by adoption. It is a thank you for being the vessel that cradles life. This painting is themed ancestors. It is a painting that for me represents the relationship with our ancestors, as our lineage does have influence in our lives from generation to generation. It also represents a struggle of mental freedom for Africans. It is the symbol of Sankofa on the mask. It's an Adinkra symbol, which means to go back for, conveying the message of the need to learn from our past. The fertility symbol on the earring of the woman in the painting is also a mashup of two symbols, one of which is the Ekwaba doll, which is a fertility doll, and the Dwafe, which is an Adinkra symbol of feminine beauty. This shows the importance of mental freedom, especially for the women in the Black community. There's a need to, so to speak, erode certain histories, take away certain perceptions, because women carry stories, women carry generation after generation and tell stories to these children. They nurture these children, and if women are not, especially the Black woman, is not cured of certain perceptions and certain behaviors and certain knowledge that has been impacted onto them from the struggle of their ancestors, these negative feelings, this negative knowledge will be passed down onto the next generation. And so that particular symbol conveys the message of healing for the womb, that the generation no longer has to suffer for what the ancestors have been through. This art piece serves as a decorative work and is themed in the heart of a woman. Like gold and precious minerals are found deep in the earth, so the true beauty of every woman lies inside of them. They are not rivers that you can squat to drink from. They are wells of precious water you need to dig deep. This artwork has a lamp attached to it,
and is to remind every woman out there that there is an inner beauty, an inner light, and they need to find it inside of themselves and let it shine. Nothing can stop it, nothing can prevent it except you. This artwork is to remind you that you should look inside of yourself and find that special something and show it to the world.
So soon we've come to the end of the exhibition. I would like to show my sincere gratitude to all of you for spending time with me. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I enjoyed your company. Also, I'd like to show my appreciation to the Hibiscus Community Center for this opportunity and Khalifa Guest House for offering up space for my exhibition. And once again, especially to you for spending this time and enjoying this with me. I hope we meet soon, meet again some other time. Thank you very much.
She's beautiful, so strong. She is educated, talented, she knows her worth. She's cultural, a woman of substance. And when she walks, the world will stop and stare. She's a woman. So strong, she is courageous and fearless. She knows her worth.